Oh my goodness. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Scentsy Family Reunion. I am going to assume that everybody watching this video has big dreams with Scentsy, right? You took a huge step in your business to attend this event virtually, not only financially, but with your time and energy and all of that. So we're not here to think small, right? We don't make big investments to think small. So today I'm going to be talking to you about aiming high and getting goaling. And what I mean by that is taking your dreams and turning them into goals. My name is Kaitlyn Baria. I've been with Scentsy, it'll be 12 years in September. I started when I was just a baby. 19 years old in my sophomore year of college. I didn't start Scentsy to actually sell the stuff. Can you believe it? I actually did it to help out my aunt, and I was a kidnapper. So how did I change my mindset from being a kidnapper to full-time Scentsy for 12 years? I actually started out my business throwing my kit in the closet. The kit came in, I took everything out of it, and I threw it in the closet, and I was never gonna touch it again. But I had just moved to Hawaii. My husband was in the Marines, and I didn't have very many friends, but I did have one friend, and her name was Kayla, and her husband had been trying to get pregnant for a while. And they got pregnant, and they were about 8 months along, and they went to a 3D ultrasound and found out that there was something wrong with the baby. And his name was Landon. He ended up passing in the womb, and it was just a really tough time, not only for her, but for me as well. That was the first baby that I had ever got to feel in somebody's stomach. That's the first baby shower I'd ever been to. I was really attached to this baby, and I was so sad when something happened to him. They were having issues with getting insurance to cover certain things, and I just wanted to help in any way that I could. So I called my aunt, and she's like, why don't you host a fundraiser for them? Just host it like an online party. I don't even care if you copy all the online party stuff that I did for you. Just host an online party, share it with everybody, and give them the money from this fundraiser. So that's what I did. And the fundraiser was a big success. I ended up earning enough money to help her pay for some of the medical bills and funeral costs. And it was from there that I got my first recruit. I got my first party, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And I realized I didn't really know what I wanted with Scentsy at that time. I just knew that if I could help others, I could help myself too. And I was having fun, and didn't really care where that led me. So I was just working my business. The snowball was going. And then one day my aunt called me, and she's like, you know that you earned the Pick, Pack, Play incentive trip for 2, right? Guys, I had no clue. At the time, I didn't really have my sights set on anything. I was literally just having fun. I was doing all the things that I needed to be doing to have a healthy business. I was partying. I was hosting events. I was consistently meeting new people. I was recruiting and sponsoring. I was building up my customer service. I was improving myself. If you haven't heard Orville's talk on the 4 chords of Scentsy, write that down and do a little research on that topic after this. But that's kind of what I was doing. I was relying on Orville's 4 chords. I was just working my business and having fun with it. And all of that work ultimately led me to earning my first incentive trip to Costa Rica. And let me tell you, if you have not been on an incentive trip yet, put that on your vision board right now. Scentsy pulls out all of the stops, and it's incredible. So since that first trip, I have earned every trip since. And I went to Africa, and I've earned the Netherlands, and I went to Switzerland, and I mean, Greece, just all these incredible things. I now know my why, and it's changed over the years. But after that first incentive trip, my why became going on all these trips. I became a wanderlust. So now I know the things that you need to be doing and the mindset that you need to have to aim high and get going. So that's what we're going to talk about today. What makes a goal different than a dream. So I'm sure you've heard the quote, a dream is just a goal without a plan. So goals require action. They require you to move. Goals also have deadlines. Scentsy actually has a great tool on the workstation that I use all the time. It's called an action plan worksheet. So if you go to the training tab of your workstation and search goals, it'll take you to a video called Setting Smart Goals in Your Business. Click on that video and there are documents attached to that video to help you come up with your goals on an action plan worksheet. Use that sheet to help you break down exactly what you need to do to get to your goals. If you want to be a director, you can break it down into, well, I need to have at least 500 PRV a month, right? So how many parties does that mean I need to be having? Becoming a director is then also broken down into having 4 star consultants on your team. So how many coaching calls do you need to be having monthly to help people in your team reach their goals and promote? If you don't have anybody to do coaching calls with, or maybe you don't have 3 consistent active frontline that you need for director, then how many recruiting conversations do you need to be having a month? How many new people do you need to meet a month to grow your customer base, thus growing your potential party hosts and recruits? Breaking it down into these smaller bites like that helps you focus. Breaking it down into tangible things like that gives you something that you can actually touch, something that you're actually working towards. And then your last step is to give these goals a timeline. My best advice is to take the stuff that Scentsy already offers us and aim for those. Even if you don't have huge dreams with Scentsy, I'm sure that there are still things that you want to accomplish, right? Maybe an extra house payment for the year, an extra tank of gas a month with these gas prices, am I right? Being able to choose brand name at the grocery store instead of off-brand. No matter what your goals are, big or small, they matter. You belong here, right? But you don't want to invest all of this money into attending this reunion and then sit at home afterwards and do nothing about it, right? Aim for the goals that Scentsy already gives us to get you on track to everything else that you want in this business. So what are some of the things that you can be shooting to attain, right? Well, at first, there is the monthly sales award. And if you don't know about the monthly sales bonus, you get an extra 5% every month that you sell over 2,000 PRV. So that is my minimum goal every single month. Notice that I said minimum goal. 2,000 is my minimum PRV goal. And then my recruiting goal that I strive for is at least 2 new recruits a month. Now, I love Jen Audette's 2-year plan, and if you haven't heard about this from her, she's great to watch on YouTube. Her 2-year plan is exactly what I just described to you. $2,000 a month minimum and sponsoring 2 people a month minimum. And in 2 years, your business is going to be thriving. It's going to be on the right track to meet those big goals and dreams that you have with this business, right? 2, strive for the annual sales and annual mentor awards. Annual sales is 30,000 PRV within a year. Annual mentor is 14 personally sponsored recruits that go to certified within a year. That's from May 1st to the end of April. That's Scentsy's calendar year. Aim for those, and everything else in your business is going to fall into place. And then honestly, you want to shoot for every incentive that Scentsy offers you. Now, when I first started Scentsy, I knew nothing about the Shooting Star Award, the Sensational Start. I just wasn't in this business to do that at first. And that's okay if you didn't reach any of those initial goals, because Scentsy continues to give us huge things to work towards to grow ourselves, right? So shoot for every incentive that Scentsy offers, whether it's something that interests you or not. Our incentives are always well-rounded. They never focus on just one thing. So for example, this summer incentive that we're working on right now, it's even teaching me, the old fogey in this company, it's teaching me new things. I learned that my business was heavily limited time offer focused when we hit the sales portion of this incentive. I struggled really hard with filling those circles. Now I can sell 4,000 or 5,000 PRV a month easily, but when they threw that sales goal at us for the incentive and they didn't count LTO products, I realized how heavily focused my business is on LTOs, and that I was struggling filling those circles, which made me realize that I had a gap within my business. Now, I'm not saying it's bad to be focused on LTOs, especially now that we have so many, but don't forget that we can have our cake and we can eat it too. I think it was Orville that once said that LTOs are literally just like the icing on the cake. They're like the sprinkles on the cake. Don't forget that we have such an amazing catalog and regular offerings of product that we can be focusing on to bring in even more sales than we already are by just focusing on our LTOs, right? Aiming for these incentives can help you see areas of focus in your business that you need to work on. And aiming for these will help you build a well-rounded business overall. Even if you shoot for top 100 and you only make level 1 of this upcoming incentive, oh my goodness, not only did you earn a trip, but now you've got recruits, you've got sales, you've built this foundation that you can grow on. So reach for the moon and you'll land among the stars, right? I love that quote. So now that we've talked about what a goal is and what some of your goals could and should be, let's talk about some tips on how to keep you focused towards these goals, okay? So the most important thing is we want to create habits and repeat them consistently. So I recently got some health news, and let me tell you, there's nothing more motivating to get you off your butt and work on bettering yourself than hearing something scary from a doctor, right? So before getting this news, I wasn't active at all. I mean, come on, friends. I've been working from home for 12 years. I can work my business from my couch or my hammock in the backyard or a seat by the pool. Why would I want to be active? I hated working out. I never played sports when I was a kid. It just wasn't my thing. But it has to be my thing now. So I've been trying to do something active for at least 30 minutes a day since March. And those first couple of months were really freaking hard. I hated every second of it. Did you know that it takes an average of 66 days or 2 months of consistent action to form a habit? So that's what I did. I worked really hard for a couple of months until it became a habit, and I was doing great until a couple of weeks ago when SSD Summit at Disney rolled around. I attended that training, and then I went home for a couple of weeks to be with my family, and you know what happened? I got off track. I wasn't doing my daily routine. So when I got back home, I was back in that mindset of not wanting to do anything. I wanted to revert back to what was easy. Sitting on the couch and doing nothing. I'll tell you what, it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do was restarting that habit of working out and being active. It was like I was starting right back at day one, square one. What I'm getting at is it's okay to take a rest in your business, but it's never okay to completely stop for any period of time, right? Because what happens? You stop doing the things that you were doing every single day to build your business. You lose your habits, and then it becomes 100 times harder to pick that back up and restart those habits and get back in the groove of things. So what are some things that you should be doing every single day in your business and making them habits? Go home and try these things for 66 days consistently and watch how much your business changes. You could develop a follow-up system. Making sure that you're interacting with your customers every single day, whether that's on social media or texting them, being present on social media, connecting with your team, just actively showing up every single day for a certain amount of time. Do this for 2 months. Go home and commit to creating these habits in your business for 2 months and just watch how your business changes for you, right? Find systems that work for you. Don't try everything. I think so many of us we get in this thing of watching what all these amazing consultants around us are doing, and then we get so overwhelmed with trying to do everything that we don't do anything at all. Stop watching what everybody else is doing. Put your blinders on. Stop trying to implement 500 new things a month and overwhelming yourself. You want to find the handful of things that you are good at as a consultant and do those consistently. I'm not the biggest system person. I'm not great at creating schedules and sticking to them, but I do have things that I do well in my business that I just keep doing every single month. I guess you could call my scent crates. I do scent crates. They're like whiff boxes, but I do them personally each month. I guess you could call that a system. I've been doing those consistently for 4 years, and that's just something that I do every single month. Find the things that you're good at and stick with those. Stop trying to implement a million different things. Just find what you're good at and do them consistently. Find what works for you as a consultant. The next tip I have is reward yourself often before you even reach your penultimate intended goal. Like I mentioned above, improving my overall health has been my biggest goal lately. A fitness journey like the one that I'm on is a lot like owning your own business, right? You don't have somebody pushing you to show up daily. I mean, unless you're like the Kardashians or something and you've got a coach that shows up at your house every day. But you have to show up for yourself every single day, even on days that you don't want to. And friends, I am lazy. That's my favorite thing to say about myself. I slay, but I am a little bit lazy. I would much rather sit on my couch and binge an entire season of Bridgerton or Stranger Things than I would work out or work on my business. So I motivate myself by rewarding myself when I complete tasks. Think about when you were in elementary school and can earn a pizza party for reading a bunch of books, right? Adults need pizza parties too, okay? Before you go to bed each night, make a list on your phone of everything that you need to get accomplished the next day. For me, my list always includes working out, but I hate laundry and dishes too, so I'll throw those on my list. Following up with customers, creating new content for my social media, emailing my team, posting in my team page, etc. Each time I complete an item, maybe that'll get me an episode of a show I want to watch, or I get to read a couple chapters of my book that evening. I rewarded myself for finishing this, and I will reward myself for finishing this video, but I rewarded myself from finishing these notes for this presentation by being able to play Sims 4 when I was done. Find things that make you happy and reward yourself with those things along the way. It makes the journey towards your big goal that much more fun, right? Make sure that you're fostering an environment that makes it easy to work towards your goals. So when I was writing my notes for this presentation, I actually didn't do them in my office. I'm in my office right now, but you don't see the mess that is all around me. It's real bad. I didn't do the notes in my office because it looks like a bomb has gone off in here, right? When my life is in utter chaos, it filters into every aspect of my life. It trickles down. I knew that if I tried to do my notes in this room, I wasn't going to get anything accomplished. If you know that you have specific hindrances to your success, like a messy home or a messy office, take a little time each night to prep your workspace so that the next morning when you wake up, you aren't distracted by all of the things that you see on your way to getting to work, right? For example, I have to pass through my kitchen, my living room, and my laundry room on my way to my office in the morning. That's 3 different locations where I can get distracted. I'm about to talk about opening up your business each morning, but you should be closing down each night as well, kind of like a restaurant. Do your dishes before you go to sleep. Wipe down the counters, put some laundry away, close it down like you would a restaurant. So when you go to open your business the next morning, there are very little distractions keeping you from what you have to do. If there are ever days where you get behind on the things that distract you, or maybe your kids are being absolutely feral some days and you can't concentrate, take yourself out of the equation. Take yourself to your favorite coffee shop and work there. I first heard of these concepts from Jennifer Anderson, and let me tell you, it works wonders for keeping your head in the game, right? So just as you should close down your business each night, you should actively open up your business each morning. Turn that open sign to on. It's just like if you're opening a physical business and they flip that sign over from closed to open every morning, turn that open sign to on. Treat Scentsy like a business, and it's going to be a business, but if you treat it like a hobby, it's going to be a hobby. If you want to make all of your dreams and goals possible with this company, and you can, Wake up every day and treat it like a business. I set aside time each day to actively work on my Scentsy business. It could be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. If you haven't heard of the Power Hour from Scentsy, that's another thing that you can look up on your workstation that helps you stay focused. I set aside time each day to actively work on my Scentsy business. That means I'm getting up, my house is not a distraction to me, and I walk right into my office and I make sure that I'm sitting there at least for an hour. For me, this is my full-time job. I don't have kids. A couple of hours a day to work my business, and I am focused on Scentsy and Scentsy only. That list that you make before you go to bed every night isn't going to be accomplished if you're not showing up to complete it, right? We talked about habits already, but make that a part of your habit. Actually sitting down for a specific amount of time each day and working on your business and your to-do list. I briefly mentioned earlier that improving yourself is a big piece of all this. What I mean by that is never stop growing. Do not get comfortable in your Scentsy business, because nothing big ever happens when you're comfortable, right? And not just in your Scentsy business, but in life. Do something every single day that scares the crap out of you. Do you think I'm comfortable here right now? I mean, I know I'm not presenting in front of everybody right this minute. I'm just doing a video, but no. The answer is no. This is the first time that I have done I'm going to be doing a breakout at Reunion in front of people. And when I got the email asking me, it took me 2 full days to respond because I had to quiet the little mean girl in my head telling me that I couldn't do it. You can do hard things, you can do scary things, and you should be doing them all the time, getting yourself outside of that comfort zone. And I don't just mean bettering yourself in that way. I mean watching Scentsy trainings when you can, listening to podcasts, reading books, attending seminars that just aren't about Scentsy but about bettering yourself, taking care of yourself, making sure that you're drinking enough water and you're being active and you're taking some time for you, right? Improving yourself is a huge piece of staying on target for your goals. Treat your customers like gold, and obviously, but get them involved in your goals along the way. So let them know what you're working towards at every single step, but don't just make it about you. I think that's one of the biggest problems that we have in Scentsy is like, we'll post something on Facebook and we'll just be like, oh my God, I have this big goal and how can you help me? And we make it all about ourselves. Find ways to involve them in your goals that also benefits them. When I was working towards my incentive trip to Africa, I had a big open house the last week of the incentive earning period, and I spoiled my customers like crazy. I made all kinds of African themed food. I had places like little selfie places in my house where they could take pictures with like safari animals and stuff. I had games. I just decorated my house and made it look super cute and gave them a reason to want to come and support me and help me earn that trip to Africa. When we got out of the military and I moved, I was really scared about losing all my local customers. So that's when I invented my scent crates. And that way they could still feel like they had me as their consultant and I was shipping them things and I was spoiling the heck out of them still, just not locally anymore. When I was earning the Disney incentive trip, I would host like Disney trivia games and just made it fun. When you're working towards a goal, make it fun for your customers too. Don't just expect them to show up for you in these ways without getting anything out of it for themselves, right? Revisit your why often. It's okay if your why changes. It's supposed to. And it's going to, but make sure that you're staying on top of your why, because you're going to hit spots in your business where you have no idea what you're working towards anymore, and then you get stuck. Before COVID, my why was Scentsy had turned into traveling the world, right? Ever since that first taste of an incentive trip, I became a wanderlust. My biggest goal in this business always revolved around earning that next big thing, that next big trip, until COVID. I had earned the top 150 to the Netherlands and I was leaving in a week when the world changed and that trip got ripped out from under me. And then World Tour, and then Cincy Family Reunion, and all of the things that kept me going in my business were taken away in the blink of an eye. And that led me into a deep, dark hole. I wasn't traveling. I wasn't seeing my friends. The reasons that I had for waking up every day and working hard at my business were suddenly gone. I felt like I didn't have a purpose. So over these last couple of years, I've had to do some really heavy head and heart work, as I'm sure all of us have been doing, right? What I realized was this. I was relying too heavily on Cincy to be my one source of happiness when I had the power all along. Cincy should be the vehicle to our dreams, not the only dream that we have, right? And I had placed so much of my hope and happiness in these incentive trips and these really cool trips that I was taking. I mean, I was traveling all year long, right? But I was putting all of my eggs into one basket when I had the power to be taking myself on trips and doing these things for myself, and I was just putting too much into Cincy. So my why changed, and it turned into me making more money and being more financially secure, so that if these incentive trips were taken away, that I could do those things for myself. I could afford to do those things for me. You know what I mean? So your why has to be so powerful that it makes you want to jump out of bed in the morning. If it hasn't, and it is not doing that for you, you need to revisit that, right? There's going to come a time in your business where the why that you started out with just isn't it anymore. And that's okay. But don't let yourself get into a position like I did, where I felt like I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have anything that I was working towards. That's when you really need to sit down and have a come to Jesus moment with yourself and ask, okay, what am I really doing here? When your why is big enough, you'll find your how, right? Make sure that you have your goals and your dreams posted everywhere. Make a vision board. Have it on your phone as your phone's background. Have it in your office. Have it in your visor when you pull down your visor in your car. Think of your dream paycheck with Cincy. Print off a fake paycheck, write out a paycheck to yourself, and post it in your office. I say this because during our hypergrowth phase, I actually got to take that paycheck off my wall, my dream paycheck. I wanted to reach $10,000, and I did that. I got to take that check off the wall and take it out of there and write myself a new dream paycheck. Being able to see those things in front of you and know that you have something tangible and physical that you're working towards is so important. Make sure that you have your goals and your dreams everywhere. Now, I hope that this video has given you so many things to think about. I hope that this session has your gears turning on what you want to go home and focus on. Like I said, you've spent so much money and you've spent time to be here, to invest into this. Do not let this go to waste. Don't show up and watch all of these breakouts and take all of these notes, and then you go home, or you're at home right now, but reunion's over and then you don't do anything with it. I challenge you when reunion is over to have a dream session. I attended a leadership retreat this spring, and this part of it was so powerful to me. We went out to a local park in the middle of the woods, and we sat alone for a while, and we closed our eyes, and we dreamed about what we wanted our life to look like. And then we went back home, and we turned those dreams into tangible goals, and we sat down and we made an action plan. Have your dream session, then print out Cincy's action plan and get to work, my friends. Show up for yourself every single day and keep showing up. I don't have a coach forcing me to work out every day. I don't have someone coming to my house and motivating me to get to work. I don't have to show up to an office every single day and, from 9 to 5 and have somebody on my butt about what I have to do. I have to do that for myself. Nobody is coming to save me. Nobody's coming to your rescue. The only person that is here for me is me. We've got to fight for that person. We've got to fight for those goals for ourselves every single day. So don't let this time be a waste. After this is over, be your own superhero. Come to save yourself. Show up for yourself. Make those goals. I hope you guys are having a great time at reunion. Thank you so much for coming and watching my video. And let's go out there, aim high, and get going. Bye, guys.